Welcome back to Local Decision. I'm Rusty Ray. We're covering the candidates for Blaine City Council in this year's primary elections, and we're joined now for a candidate for Ward 3 and Terra Fleming. Terra, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You've got a bit of history here in Blaine and in Anoka County.
I do. I'm a chiropractor of 31 years. I practiced with Jim Abler over in Anoka for about 7 years. And then I opened my practice here in 2000 right next door. Married with 3 children, 19, 16, and 13-year-old boys, so it's been a busy life. But yeah, so we just live over by way of the Lord. And yeah.
What is it about living and working in Blaine that you like so much?
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that, because let's talk about living. While I was out before campaigning, I was going out and I was talking to residents of Blaine, and it was just amazing. The kids are out playing, everyone feels safe. It was so great to hear the laughter. Everybody's out working on their yards. The neighbors are super friendly. They're having happy time together or whatever. And I just love the neighborhoods and the friendliness and the safety that we feel here. The opportunities in Blaine were great. I mean, every time I needed anything from any kind of business owner, another chiropractor, whatever, they're always very receptive and helpful. So yeah, I just love Blaine.
Is there any sense of, even with quite rapid population growth in the past, especially the past 10 years, but more than that, is there still a small town feel in terms of a business community? And you just mentioned you were able to kind of connect and if you needed something or needed some help with something, but is there some small town feel in the business or in living here too? Yeah,
I think that we do have a small town feel. I like that, even though it's growing really fast paced. I think we could do better though. I think that the people of Blaine are wanting a downtown, and granted, we can't recreate downtown Anoka. We just can't.
Right.
And that's the ultimate downtown. But people are wanting more of a downtown where you can get that feel and that you can walk around. There's more walkability to go to different stores, different restaurants, that kind of thing. So there is that need that people are talking about.
You likened it to, I think, Maple Grove, is that correct?
Yeah,
something
like a
that?
small Maple Grove, something like that.
And is there beginnings of that, like the area around City Hall? There's some land there, but there's the park and is there some of that, or there's plans for 105th and redeveloping that, and that are coming out here this month or later this summer that the public will get a look at? Is there an opportunity there, or do you see somewhere else in Blaine, either through redevelopment or something else that can be turned into what you're talking about?
Well, so it's a really good question, and I'm still working and learning on that. I had talked with a developer who said there is 29 acres available, which would be a great chunk of land to do what we want to do, or what we could do. And I don't really know, we're still talking, trying to figure out where that is. I would love, and I don't know if there's enough land around City Hall, because people talk about how they go down to the concerts and there's no place for them to go have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or to walk around and have that feel. So I'm open as to where we have the land to develop it and have enough land to develop the right thing.
Have you looked into anything the city is talking about, like with Northtown Mall and redeveloping that area? Do you have any thoughts about that, or any kind of ideas maybe that you would like to see either continue to follow or a new idea?
To be honest with you, that is one area that I have not entered into yet. I'm just learning that we are wanting to redevelop that, so that is absolutely going to be a focus of mine. So yeah.
So what kind of challenges or what kind of opportunities, let's say, do you think Blaine has? You touched on a couple things. Are there other opportunities or things that you think the city can do better or can improve upon?
Well, so I have to tell you, we have a really fabulous mayor and city council right now. I mean, I've sat in on some of their sessions. I've been watching some of their videos because I need to get up to speed. I'm new to this. And I think they're fabulous. Every single one of them wants to keep Blaine a great city, and for that I'm thankful. I just really think the development needs to slow down. We're getting smaller lot sizes, and people they're upset about all the trees being taken down, the parks, some of the wetlands being developed, and I understand how that works. I'm learning that. So there has to be a give and take there. But they are concerned about their parks. They're concerned about the upkeep of the parks, things like that. And so I think we need to really be on top of that.
Those are all amenities that developers and cities try to draw people in to buy those homes, no matter the size of the lot. Well, hey, there's a park a half a block away, or you can ride your bike across this to the park. So those amenities are there, but you think that the city can do better to preserve or maintain what they already have?
Yeah. So there's a certain park, and I don't remember which park it is, but a resident was telling me that they haven't taken care of it, and so now it's overgrown with, I don't even know what it is, some sort of species, and that it may never come back. They may just have to, plow it under. That shouldn't happen. People want better pathway systems that connect, so that they don't, and sidewalks. Sidewalks are a huge thing because people have kids, and they need those sidewalks for the safety of their children.
So why are you running for city council?
That's a really good question. It really is a God thing for me. I never saw myself in this realm. I guess through the last 2 to 6 years, I've felt some stirrings to get more and more involved. And being a chiropractor, one of the things that I'm passionate about is helping people. And I do it every day, and I have been feeling like God has been urging me to broaden that base, to broaden it to our city. And 2020 was kind of pivotal for me because I saw how important the local government was. And so that's when God was like, okay, let's take a look at Blaine City Council.
Politically, 2020, you say, or the circumstance with the pandemic and all that stuff?
With COVID and all of that.
Okay. And again, you're very complimentary of the existing council, but it's still a changing face. 2020, there was a lot of changes on council and in the mayor's office, but with the resignation of Jason Smith and the perhaps ascension of Julie Jepson, or at least not running again and running for the county board, there's an opportunity to remake. And so I would see that would spur you to say, hey, there's an opportunity here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so in campaigning, you said you've been out talking to people. What else are people telling you? If you're meeting them for the first time, or if you're operating within your existing network of patients or friends or whatever, what are people saying? This is really this is why we moved to Blaine 15 years ago or 15 months ago. What are they saying to you?
Well, they love the small town. They love that it's quiet. They love the quiet neighborhoods. And the people that I've talked to, even before campaigning, I went out and spoke to at least 100 residents just to get a feel for what are the needs of the residents, because I really want to be a voice for the residents of Blaine. And someone said, well, what is it you want to change? I said, it's not about me. It's about everyone out in Blaine. And so I've talked about a few things. People are really concerned about the growth and how big it's going. They want to make sure that their streets are safe, that we have enough policemen on the force. There are concerns about certain areas that they need more policing. And how do we go about doing that? The needs are different in every area that I've found. Where I live, over by Way of the Lord, people are concerned about not enough streetlights and the roads. So out in south or northeastern Blaine, they're concerned about how big it is, the trail systems, the parks. So it's different in every area, which has been really interesting. And I take a notebook and I take notes. And I don't know all the answers. I won't even tell anybody I do. But as a chiropractor, this is kind of what I tell people, is that I have to be a really good listener. I have to ask the right questions, and I have to be a good problem solver. And so I'm not afraid to ask questions and to figure it all out.
You're not the first candidate or existing council person to talk about the need for more police, but then that's sometimes buoyed up against how do you pay for that?
Right.
The police are a major portion of the city's budget. It's a huge budget.
Yes, it is.
It's a huge police department in Blaine, 100 strong-ish officers on the street and all the staff at City Hall. How do you pay for that? How do you say to folks, yes, we do want to provide more protection in your neighborhood and in these other areas that you say and others who live in those areas say need it, but people are saying, oh, don't raise my taxes. Yeah,
right?
How does that work? I don't have that answer, but I mean...
I don't have that answer yet either. But I think it's an important conversation to have. And I think that's, going into city council, I'm going to have conversations. And I have a big learning curve ahead of me, but I am prepared to tackle it head on. So.
Well, we can't talk about Blaine without talking about Highway 65. You've lived here long enough, worked here long enough to probably have some thoughts on it and the city's role in that. Of course, the state, obviously, and the state has a lot of the planning, but the money may be indeed federal. But the city has a lot of say in individual intersections. What can you say? What ideas at all, if you've formulated some definitive about 65 and the problem that many say 65 is?
Well, and then you've got an additional problem, and this is the other thing the residents are talking about, is because there's so many people now, and that North Metro is just growing and booming. Now what's happening is they're siphoning off to Radisson and they're siphoning off to University, and now those are getting even busier. So I don't have all the right answers because we talk about overpasses. Okay, that streamlines things, but then what happens, and this is what actually residents have talked to me about, what happens to the businesses at those overpasses? Is that going to affect them negatively? And so I don't have all the answers, but I want to have those conversations, and let's talk about it and like figure out what's going to be best for Blaine. People don't like 65 and nobody likes to travel it anymore. You know, other people have talked about why can't we have, like on Highway 10 where you have the blinking lights.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, you're gonna, because we know we have that death with that semi-truck driver.
Yes.
And I had talked to another truck driver. He said, let's get those blinking lights so that we have some forewarning to be able to stop our big old semis. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the conversations that I want to have.
Regardless of what happens this election year, where do you want to see Blaine in 10 years from now? What would you like to see that is not even, maybe doesn't even occur or exist right now, or what would you like to see continue with Blaine over the next 10 years?
I think strategic growth. Let's slow the growth a little bit so that we can develop that infrastructure, the things that people want here, which I would love to see. You know, people want a Trader Joe's, they want high-end grocery stores, they want some higher-end restaurants. And we're all very thankful for the ones that we have, but they want more. So I think that would be very strategic, and possibly that downtown feel, possibly a community center. That is something that, in talking to all of the parents with the young children, they want a place to go. They don't want to have to go to Shoreview. They don't want to have to go to Andover. They want something in their backyard. And I think that Blaine, we're one of the bigger cities. I think we need to provide that for our residents.
Okay. Terra Fleming, that's all we have for you today. Thank you for coming by today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You got it.